Hello and welcome to my Module 4 application for DL 5803. My name is Tommy Fedegante, and in this presentation I'll be showing you two of my students who are struggling in this course. I will first talk a little about the course and then go into detail about the students' work and how I knew they were struggling. Finally, I will use Chickering and Gamson's 7 Rules of Undergraduate Education to explain what I would do to help these learners who are struggling. Some things to know about my course. The audience is made up of 17 7th graders. These students range from students who are at average math levels to others who have IEPs and 504s. The topics covered in this course will be completely new to my target audience. When it comes to the content, I plan on this course lasting roughly 8 days. The course will cover the 4 integer operations that we use in 7th grade. Those operations will cover both positive and negative numbers. Every day there will be some type of formative assessment for me to see how my students are doing. The course will wrap up with a summative assessment followed by a post-course check-in for all my students. Now, let's look at some data from the students that are struggling. Student A is your typical student who is nervous about math. Most students either love math or hate it. Student A does not necessarily hate math, but they are not confident in their skills. We will first look at the responses from the pre-course check-in. I think it is very important to always check on my students' social emotional well-being. You can see that they're excited that they made the volleyball team, but scared about getting low grades in math. They also scored a 7 on the anxiety level, which is a nervous score. When asked 5 math questions, at the very bottom, they put I don't know for the first 4, and then answered the last one with a multiple choice question. Going back to their data, you can see that on their first day quiz, they scored a 53, which is failing. Looking at their post day 1 check-in, student A thought they did good, but they knew they didn't do very well in the quiz. They also know that they're not happy with the 53% and they need to pay attention more. After several other days of doing this, they finally had to complete the mid-course check-in. Student A thought they were doing well, but were struggling and still need help. They also, if you notice, did not do their flip grade during their assignments, which is one that requires collaboration from other students. After all these check-ins and seeing their score, I could tell the student was struggling. Student B is a student who likes to rush quickly on their assignments. Looking at their pre-course check-in, you can see that student B was feeling very good about themselves. They said their mom got them a new video game and they're good right now, and their anxiety level was a 1, which stands for relaxed. However, they did answer all the questions incorrectly, but only getting 1 correct. Looking at their first day quiz again, they scored lower than student B with a 40%. The post day 1 check-in tells me that the student thinks they're doing all right with the 40%. You can see from their answers, they thought they did well, and the 40 is not too bad for them. They just went too fast. After checking their mid-course check-in, they are still feeling good about the course, even though they are never consistent with their grades. To me, this student is also struggling. There are some easier signs with student A that told me they were struggling. Right off the bat, their social emotional skills were low. They were not able to easily handle their emotions when it came to math. This shows me that they might have a hard time to begin with. Also, all of their check-ins were not sure of themselves. Finally, getting low scores and taking a very long time on each assignment showed me that they are struggling. When it came to student B, it was not as easy. Based off their pre-course check-in, they seemed confident and knew what they were doing. However, their tendency to rush assignments is costing them. They are inconsistent with their scores, which is also showing me that they are struggling. There are some things I could do, though, to help these two students. I am very fortunate to have learned in this course what Chickering and Gamson's 7 rules of undergraduate education are. As an educator and designer, these are things that I strive for in my own class. I think this graphic from Watwood's blog post fits the theme perfectly. You need all the moving parts from Chickering and Gamson to work together and create a well-oiled machine. No part of the machine can move without the other. While all these pieces are very important, I feel that there are a few that I can focus on to help my struggling students even more. One thing that is key to any course is setting high expectations. Svinicki suggests that behaviors can be affected by the expectations set. I need to first start off by telling student A and B that these scores are not going to be expected at all times. I understand that things may be confusing for them, but scores like this should not happen all the time. Setting those high expectations will push the students to work harder. Another gear that can help these struggling students is making sure that they are working collaboratively with their peers. If you remember, student A avoided their Flipgrid because it would involve them working with other peers via videos. I need to again set those high expectations that is needed to be completed, but also encourage the student to work with their partner or group. Collaboration will only improve the learning process. One course correction that I found useful was allowing small group feedback between me and the struggling students. O'Neill/Hickson suggests that small group feedback is a formative assessment that can allow for the instructor to gain feedback and fix the course on the spot. I think it would work best if it was just me and the struggling students in the small group. I would start with them too and work from there. I think it will be more intimate where hopefully the students would open up more to the idea of having a conversation with their math teacher. Another idea is allowing the students to retake and reattempt assignments. While I would allow this for any of my students, I think it is important for these 2 students to get extra attempts when possible. The only issue that I see with this is that they could just start guessing just because they know they'll get another attempt no matter what. There are many things to consider when collecting data on students. The main thing I think about is a student's home life. What is going on at home and what could be causing them to have issues in class. Things like taking care of siblings or even cooking dinner could be a possibility. There are a lot of things that could be happening while they're at home. Another thing to think about is the internet access. While almost everyone nowadays has internet, I know for a fact there are students in my district who don't have internet. Luckily, our library offers free hotspots, so this could be something that my school could look at if needed. Finally, a student's prior knowledge could really determine how well they do in a class. Maybe they had an amazing teacher last year that helped them with their math skills, while another student was moving around and did not have that consistency. These things are really important to consider when looking at data because some of these things are out of the student's control. We need to make sure we're not penalizing students for the things that they cannot control. I'd just like to thank you for your time today and appreciate you listening. And here are the resources that I used for my application this week. Thanks and have a good day.